Earth is in the center. They showed all the planets and one more. And they said that that planet, and they had a cosmology describing how it happened to become a member of the solar system. They said this is the 12th member of the solar system. That's the title of my first book, The 12th Planet. And they said that once every 3,600 years, that planet at its perigee comes at its closest point to Earth, at which time there have been comings and going between Earth and that planet, going back to about 450,000 years ago. So though they lived, their civilization is dated to about 6,000 years ago, they told us about events that happened almost 500,000 years ago, and they in the text not only depicted those members of the solar system and how they came into being, they also had, for example, astronomical texts that gave the distances between the planets. Now you would ask, why do people whom we would consider primitive 6,000 years ago, why would they need to know the distance between Neptune and Pluto? Right. Okay. They called the Earth, as another illustration, they called Earth the seventh planet. Now we all know, because we went to school, we all know that Earth is the third planet, because from the Sun there's Mercury, Venus, and then Earth. Now who would call Earth the seventh? Only someone who is counting from the outside in, because then they would call Pluto the first, Neptune the second, Uranus the third, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars the sixth, and Earth would indeed be the seventh planet. Now, when someone asked them, as they asked themselves perhaps, how do you know all that? How do you know that there's one more planet? How do you know about all the planets that could not be seen with the naked eye? How do you know that Earth is the seventh? How do you know that there is water out there on the outer planets, things that we are just beginning to find out through the Pioneer spacecraft? How do you know all that? They say, those who came from that planet told us. So it is a complete circle here. If there is such a planet, how did they know about it? They say those who came from it told us. Right. Now, if those came and did tell them, then there is such a planet. So either, as you said, it is better than Asimov, right?
Right.
Or it is true.
As I recall when we talked last, that there was some word from the Naval Observatory that the concept of a 12th planet can be accepted.
Yes. Well, the astronomers, and I think I ought to make it clear, the astronomers call this Planet X, and by X they mean two things. One, X as a mystery planet, the planet we don't know about, or they mean it X for the Roman 10. Because technically, if you do not consider in the list of 12 the Sun and the Moon, you have Sun, Moon, and only 10 planets. So we know about 9, so this would be a 10th planet. The Sumerians, however, considered all these bodies as celestial bodies, members of a solar system. They said there's a sun, there's a moon, which they considered as a celestial body in its own right for reasons that they gave. And
well, many scientists look upon our moon as a tandem planet to us now.
Yes, some think so too now, because indeed, Bill, everything since my book was published at the end of '76, everything that was discovered since then in almost 9 years, be it in astronomy, be it in geology, be it in biology, be it in artificial insemination or in vitro creation of human life, everything confirms. There's been no discovery that contradicts. Everything confirms the Sumerian knowledge.
Well, you have to look at evidence, and you have to look at truth. When you find some scholars that were around 5,000 or 6,000 years ago that are talking about things with great accuracy that we don't even know about and are beginning to find out about, and it still holds up as factual,
right,
then we have to look very, very hard at it, don't we?
I hope so.
There's an amazing story in your new book, which is published by Avon, by the way, The Wars of Gods and Men. And in just a moment, I'd like for you to kind of give us a little thumbnail sketch and whet our appetite, if you may. I'm Bill Jenkins. With me tonight, and I'm so delighted that he's in studio with us, is Zecharia Sitchin, whose work is monumental in every one of his books. His newest, The Wars of Gods and Men, The 12th Planet, and Stairway to Heaven are must in your bookshelves as far as I'm concerned, and I hope you get them all. We'll be back in a second. Celestials, or alien beings, if you want to call them that, from another planet, who had a very profound impact upon the formation of human life as we know it, as far as that goes on this planet, and certainly our societies. Some of their problems and wars got carried over to our planet and among our people, and we have picked up that warlike attribute of theirs. I wish we'd left that one along the way, but I guess it was sort of inherited, right?
Yes, it was. Bill, before the break, you asked me to try and sum up.
Yeah. Give us a fascinating thumbnail sketch, because I know the audience is going to want to know more.
Well, I'll do my best, because it took many years to write it, and there are many pages and many illustrations to
I'm always doing
read
that.
and
I
look.
want you to put 12 years of work into 2 minutes.
In 12 minutes, right. Anyway, as you said in your introduction, those who had come to Earth, and at this point, I think we can assume that the listeners are at least going along with us, that beings from another planet in our own solar system had come to Earth about 500,000 years ago.
But we want to point out again that this is not something fanciful that you have conjured up in your mind. This is the information that you're getting from the ancient Sumerians and other ancient texts and writings that are found.
Including the Old Testament.
Including certainly that one. So it's not fantasy here. It very well could be historical data. And that's the way I want you to look at it.
Right. So they came here, and the first point to be borne in mind is that they came here for their own reasons. They also did not come here because they were traveling from A to B and crash landed here, or just happened to pass by this small speck of dust we call Earth in universal terms. They came here for a purpose, because on their planet they were facing extinction. The reason was, and here I must distinguish between what is written in the text and what I surmise from them. I surmise that their problem was that they were losing atmosphere on their planet. And in order to keep it, in order to retain what they had, their scholars, their scientists discovered that if they could suspend gold particles and create like an envelope of gold particles around their atmosphere, they could go on surviving on their planet. Now they have found out that there is gold on Earth, on this so-called seventh planet. And the story of how that happened is told in a text that, again, was originally written down for the first time by the Sumerians. The reason it was written down the first time by them is that they were the first ones to have writing.
Mm-hmm.
But we found it, our scholars and archaeologists have found it principally preserved in a Hittite version. The Hittites are the ancient peoples of Anatolia, of what is today Turkey. And the tale is one of a usurpation of powers, of a revolt on their planet, where the then ruler was deposed by someone called Anu, and that deposed ruler escaped in a spaceship. The description leaves no room for a doubt that he escaped on a spaceship from their planet, Nibiru, to what the Hittite text says, to dark Yud Earth. This is how Earth looked to them from space, as a dark Yud planet.
We found out it does look like that, doesn't it?
And he